Are you serious? Are you serious, guys? We have breaking information coming in. Of course, this just in. There is significant escalation in the war in the Holy Land right now as Hezbollah has fired over 200 rockets at one time into northern Israel. And now Israel has responded. Let me tell you all about that in just a second. First of all, guys, you might want to ask yourself this question. If you go to trycono.com/Paul, trycono.com/Paul, I put it in the link below. If you're suffering from any type of daily pain, I need you to listen to this message very carefully. You see, what we know about the root cause of pain is changing forever. As we age, aches and pains are natural, and as we're all searching for effective ways to relieve the pain without side effects or addiction. Now, let's be frank. We've all seen the horrors of the opiate crisis, and you may even been affected personally. And that's where a pioneering medical scientist comes in. His name is Clint Winters. You may have seen this world-renowned health expert featured in national media as he's unveiled a natural pain reliever that is taking the world by storm. I'm talking about Kahanadine. It's a 100% drug-free way to get your full body pain relief without the dangerous pills. And as you read this, Kahanadine has become the go-to pain reliever for over 1 million Americans and hundreds of professional athletes. It is so good, it's so effective, so powerful that even the UFC fighters are using it extensively. And those guys know a thing or two about pain. So go now. Get this. Clint Winters explains how Kahanadine is the only compound on Earth that optimizes your body's natural painkillers called endorphins, and it can help you tremendously. Just go to that link below, click on it, trycono.com/Paul. That's trycono.com/Paul. You'll be glad, folks. You really will be glad that you did. Okay. Now, let's talk about what's happening in the Holy Land right now because there's significant, and I mean significant, escalation. You know, they've been calling for peace. I know that everybody's been trying to put pressure on Israel to, do a ceasefire. And Israel's like, how do you do a ceasefire when Hamas has still not been destroyed? 130 people are still held hostage. They won't give them up. And Hezbollah is firing rockets at us from the north. And Houthis are still shooting rockets at ships in the Red Sea and the Mediterranean Sea. And, the Russians and the Syrians and the Iranians and others are still gathering around, threatening every moment. And so now what happened this morning was Hezbollah has launched a huge attack into Israel, and Israel has responded as sonic booms are rattling Beirut, Lebanon. Lebanon's Hezbollah launched a big rocket and drone attack at Israel this morning, threatening to hit new targets in retaliation, they say, for the killing of their top commander in the latest surge of violence in the steadily worsening and expanding conflict across the border into Lebanon. Sparked by the Gaza war, the conflict between Iran's backed Hezbollah and now their attacks on Israel has been gradually intensifying for the few months, raising fears of a full-scale war, which both sides have indicated they want to avoid. And diplomats are also working to try to prevent. But as the latest violence played out in areas at or near the border, in keeping with the pattern of the last 9 months, the sound of sonic booms has rattled nerves for the second successive day in Beirut and other parts of Lebanon. Israeli jets broke through the sound barrier over several areas of the country. Why did that happen? It's because Hezbollah launched 200 or more rockets simultaneously in a swarm of drones and rockets at 10 different Israeli military sites um, this morning all at once. This was what they say was in retaliation for Israel killing Hezbollah's top commander, Mohammed Nasser, on yesterday. Nasser's one of the most senior Hezbollah commanders to be killed by Israel during this recent conflict. The Israeli military said over 200 projectiles, over 20 suspicious area targets were identified crossing from Lebanon into northern Israel, a number of which were intercepted by Israeli air defenses and Israeli fighter jets. Israel's ambulance service said no casualties were reported, no injuries, no one was killed, even though over 200 rockets were fired directly into Israel. The Israeli military said some of those drones and interceptors, shrapnel, did set off fires, and so there is fires burning in northern Israel near the border of Lebanon. The Israeli Air Force then struck Hezbollah military structures in the areas of Ramah and Hula. There in southern Lebanon. Senior Hezbollah officials are speaking at an event in Beirut. They were commemorating Nasser, indicated that the group would widen its targeting, is what they said. The series of responses continue in succession as these series will continue to target new sites they said that the enemy did not imagine would be hit. But apparently they failed. All 200 rockets failed to do any major damage or injure anybody. The United States has been leading diplomatic efforts to de escalate the fighting, and Hezbollah has said it will not cease fire at Israel as long as Israel continues its offensive in the Gaza Strip against Hamas. Now, hostilities have inflicted a heavy toll on both sides of the frontier, forcing tens of thousands of Israelis to flee their homes and tens of thousands of Lebanese to flee their homes along the border between Lebanon and Israel. Okay, so meanwhile, the French officials are trying to get involved along with the Americans to discuss some type of diplomacy, reconciliation, to put an end to the fighting. But Hezbollah says as long as Israel is pounding on Hamas, they will continue to fight Israel from the north. Thus, Israel's in right now, no doubt about it, involved in a two-front battle, and it's not, there's no end in sight. The hostages haven't been released, and there's no ceasefire agreement anywhere even close to being signed. Matter of fact, Israel's military forces are getting ready to go in on another major ground incursion into another city that is probably a few more of the Hamas strongholds. So this thing is continuing. There's no end in sight as far as we're concerned. And as really, and just be honest with you, when you read the Bible and you start reading about the prophecies of the Psalms 83 war, it says that there'd be a group of nations that would form a confederacy, and that that there'd be an attack on Israel, and that the conversation would simply be a proclamation that they're going to wipe Israel off the face of the earth, never to be remembered again, the nation of Israel. And of course, in Ezekiel 38, we know that it says that they will actually build this coalition and attack Israel from many different nations. So we know we're in the Psalms 83. The very words that the prophecy says in Psalms 83 have been repeatedly proclaimed by the Ayatollah Khomeini in Iran, and is the attack by Hamas on October 7th, certainly killing nearly 1,300 innocent civilian Israelis. And then, of course, the battle that rages between Israel and Hamas, and now Israel and Hezbollah. And then where does it go from here? It looks like we're on the brink of Ezekiel 38 and no end in sight. Now, tonight's going to be a big night. I want to say happy 4th of July to everybody out there as we celebrate our nation's independence today. Very proud of that. This being a wonderful nation, but it's a nation right now in conflict. It's a nation right now in turmoil, politically most divisive it's been since probably the days of the Civil War, and there's chaos and confusion throughout the land as far as where is this country going. We're in the most chaotic election ever, and then of course the threat of nuclear thermonuclear war around the world right now, the conflict going on between Russia and Ukraine, and NATO is bracing for potential conflict with Russia, and Israel in the Middle East, and of course in Taiwan, feeling threatened heavily by China, and then of course North Korea threatening South Korea and Japan. This is a very, very dangerous time we're in, and so we're going to continue to pray and keep our eyes open. I'll be live tonight starting at 9 p.m. Eastern with Mike from around the world. I guarantee you we've got a lot to talk about. Oh, by the way, our book Revelation 9:11 went #1 again this morning, shockingly, because it had been about a month or so, and we had been doing well. The book's been doing well, but today it just exploded, and I really believe it's because my co-author Troy Anderson did an interview yesterday with South African National Television, and apparently it went well because it skyrocketed Revelation 9:11 back to number one in the Amazon.com in one category. Let's see if I can remember. Can't remember. But it went #1. In another category, it went back to #2. And in spiritual warfare, it went to #7. So we're very, very happy. And actually, it was almost the highest it's ever been. It's in the top 1,300 books out of the 33 million at Amazon. So it's doing very well. Went back #1 again for the 5th time. All right, guys, I'll be back. If you haven't got your copy of Revelation 9:11, you need to do it, because if there was ever a book that was a right now word, if there was ever a book that everything that's going on right now in the world, we wrote about it in advance of it happening, it's right now. I mean, it's really incredible, really. It shows you it's a very prophetic book, and it will help you understand where we're at in Bible prophecy in many areas, AI, you know.
And I have an urgent message for you from Mike from around the world. So I don't think you should read it on the air, but he's getting ready for tonight.
Okay, so Heidi has got an email from Mike around the world, a very urgent message, a very urgent message for me that I'm going to read here in a moment regarding POTUS. And is Mike going to talk about it tonight?
I'm sure.
So Heidi just got it, a very urgent message from Mike around the world to me about POTUS. And he's going to discuss it tonight.
And he doesn't usually do that.
And he doesn't, I mean, this is rare. He may have, I don't know if he's ever done this 5 times. I mean, this is something he might, maybe once every 2 years or so, that he actually contacts us in advance with a very urgent message. So you don't want to miss the broadcast tonight. Yes, with Mike around the world at 9 p.m. Eastern. As Heidi just said, Mike has just sent an email, and I can't read it over the air right now. Mike's going to do the explanation of it. He's going to talk about it tonight at 9 o'clock. It has to do with POTUS. We'll find out what this all means. So I'm not going to speculate. Let's just don't miss the show tonight, okay? Starts at 9 p.m. Eastern with Mike from around the world. I want to thank you guys for your donations for the Salvation Station. Thank you for your tithe and offerings. Thank you so much. You're helping us as we're taking care of the blankets to those that are very, very sick and in need of being healed. And Bibles, of course, going to people all over for free. All this for free. And just thank you guys for being there for us with the work we have to do in taking the gospel of Jesus Christ to the world. Give your life to Jesus Christ because time is running out. And I'll be back with more current world events and how they relate to biblical prophecy. And of course, tonight, don't miss it at 9 p.m. with this very urgent message from Mike from around the world. I'll see you tonight. I'll see you later this afternoon, actually. God bless.